I'm out on a lake that's about 4,000 acres, max depth over 100 feet, and the water's crystal clear. We're looking at 10 to 15 feet of visibility this time of year. It's also one of the more complex lakes I've ever fished. Rock bars, mid-lake humps, deep basin, heavy weed growth, all in the same system. Basically the opposite of the big sand, open flats you've probably seen in a lot of other walleye videos. If your home water looks more like this, rock and weed and structure everywhere, instead of one big flat, this video is for you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly how I read a lake like this before I ever make a cast, starting with nothing but the map, then side imaging, then forward-facing sonar. And I'm going to show you the version that works, whether you're running $5,000 electronics package or just a basic graph. That's the whole point of this channel. It doesn't matter what you're running or what lake you're on. You should be able to do this on your own water by the end of the video. The first thing I do on any new lake, before I even leave the dock, I pull up the depth shading on the map. This is just a color gradient based on depth. You don't need side imaging or forward-facing sonar to use it. In my case, the red equals shallower water, yellow equals mid-depth, green equals a little deeper, and the light blue and dark blue equal the deepest water in the lake. And you can change the colors right on your Humminbird unit on the map. Go into settings, depth, contours, and you can change your color palette, change your colors to whatever settings you like. What I'm looking for is the tighter rings of color change, and I'll scroll around a little bit, and here's a couple good examples of some humps here where you can see right here the rings are tighter, coming up from 42 up to 27 feet on the top of this hump. Here's another one. You can see similar, coming out from 48 up to 45, 42, 33, and then 27 on the top of the hump. And that's a good place to check before you even leave the dock. On these Humminbird units, you can just press and hold. You can set a waypoint as a reminder. And this is helpful because if you can't tell a real hump from a slow taper before you leave the dock, you end up using a lot of gas and daylight checking spots. And some of those spots that you're going to check will never hold fish in the first place. On a lake this big and deep, over 100 feet max depth, I can sit at the dock and mark 4 or 5 of these before I even ever turn on side imaging. That's step 1 of my decision tree, and it literally works on any Humminbird or Garmin unit with a mapping chip. You don't need to spend more money to do this part. So we marked this one from the dock, basically. Let's go see if it's actually there. There it is. Comes up from about 28 feet to 14. That's exactly where the shading told us it would be. But knowing there's a hump here doesn't tell me what it's actually made of, and that changes everything about how I fish it. Now that I've got a few humps marked, I'm also marking 2 other things: weed edges and the deep cuts where the basin drops off. Each one of these is going to hold different species for a different reason in late August. Here's what the same hump looks like on side imaging. See these marks? Hard, bright. That's rock, and that's a different structure than this. A weed edge reads softer, fuzzier on the screen. The fish are going to be tucked up right against that green line where the weed stops and the open water starts. On a lake this complex, clear water, deep basin, rock, and weed both present, walleye and smallmouth are going to lean towards that rock. Humps, reefs, and the hard stuff. Pike and largemouth are going to sit in the weed edges. That's the split I'm fishing today, and it's the same split you should be looking for on your own lake. Now I'll flip up to forward facing and actually watch these fish react to the bait. We're going to try bobber fishing, cast and retrieve jig, and a crawler harness. After trying all 3 baits, still nothing, and this is the part nobody shows you. The read was right, forward facing is marking fish, they just weren't eating today, and that's not a failure of the process, that's the process working. A confirmed spot with no bites is still information. It tells me the fish aren't set up here right now, so it's time to check the other half of the decision tree. So the rock's a dead end today. Let's go see if the weed's holding what the rock wasn't. Different spot, different tool. And this time no side imaging, no forward facing. This weed edge you can see from the map and the depth alone. And honestly, you can just look at it. The weed line's visible right on the surface. We're going to try opposite ends of the spectrum for bait today. So we're going to do finesse with a wacky rig, and we're going to do some trolling and casting with some more aggressive baits and see what the fish are biting the most on. That's the other half of this decision tree. Not every spot needs electronics. Sometimes mapping, depth, and your eyes are the whole answer.
That's a fish. That's a fish, dude. That's a fish. Get it out of there. It's about good.
Staying down, so it might be a fish. I don't feel any head shakes, but it's little bass.
You want to net it?
No.
No, okay. Oh, shit.
Smallmouth. Huh?
Is it really? Nice.
Yeah.
First one ever.
I think it is. Maybe. Let me get a closer look once I get him unhooked. Is it a smallmouth? Yeah, it's just a dink. Okay, so maybe we continue on this line. Bass. Want to net him? That's a pretty good size one.
Nice bass. Nice.
Open your bail.
That's bigger than that one.
Okay.
No, that's a nice one though.
Yeah.
I'd say 3 all day. That's a nice bass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice bass.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh.
Epic fail.
Sorry, buddy.
But still, bud.
You got the scale?
Yeah. Guys doubled up. We've got an aggressive bait getting bit and a finesse bait getting bit at the same time. That's not a fluke. When fish are actually feeding, they're not picky about which end of the spectrum you throw. The weed edge is doing the work, not the lure choice. This is usually the point in the video where I tell you a little bit about our gear, but I want to keep moving. I've got links in the description for all the gear that we use today if you want to check it out. So, no forward facing, no side imaging, and it's still produced, because the spot was visual. And now that we know aggressive is working just as well as finesse here, let's take that information and run with it. So we already know something important from the last spot. Aggressive is working just as well as finesse on this edge. So instead of sticking to the original plan, we adjusted. Grabbed a couple of crankbaits and started trolling a weed edge to cover more water while staying aggressive. So in this technique of trolling with crankbaits, we're actually trying to run the lures right above the weed edge, and we're going super slow on the trolling motor, and then just reeling slower to get the speed up to stay out of the weeds.
Every single one of these fish is trolling.
Smaller.
Damn.
Oh shit.
Gotcha. Big body wrap, dude, I'm telling you.
Oh, right.
Pike are in already. He's the bass pike. Ooh, yeah.
That's a nice one.
He's on the boat. Yeah. I could loosen up there a little bit. This pike. Ooh, yeah.
You lock up?
Yeah, we'll lock.
We got braid holds. There he is.
Not out of the weeds there, buddy boy.
Found it again. And that's the payoff of paying attention instead of forcing a plan. We didn't come out here planning to troll crankbaits. The fish just told us that aggressive was working, and we leaned all the way into it. If you want more information or videos about trolling, crankbaits, or any other type of trolling, leave a comment and let us know what type of videos you'd like about trolling. So that's the real lesson today. The decision tree gets you to the right water. What you do once you're there depends on what the fish actually tell you. You now know how to break down a complex lake like this from
the couch, or the dock. Depth shading to find the shape, side imaging to confirm what it's made out of, species match to structure, forward facing to close the deal when structure isn't visual, and the willingness to adapt once the fish tell you what's actually working. The second we figured out aggressive was working, we stopped fishing the plan and started fishing the pattern. That's really the whole point of a decision tree. It's not a script, it's a starting point. Take the same process to your own water and just let the fish adjust it from there. Until next time, keep fishing.